feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Hey everybody, I'm Mark Scribner, your co-host with Micah Keel on the Shrimp Tank today, and we are really excited to bring on real shortly the chairman founder of Spartan Races. His name's Joe De Sena, and quite candidly, he's the definition of a serial entrepreneur. Not serial like the Wheaties, but serial entrepreneur. He's done some amazing stuff, and we're going to talk about his business, his journey in being an entrepreneur. Want to remind everybody that the Shrimp Tank is in 12 cities right now. We're bringing on Tennessee shortly. We're also nationally syndicated through iHeart, Google, Stitch, SoundCloud, Spotify, basically anywhere you can download your podcast, you can find the Shrimp Tank. We are now becoming one of the top downloads in iHeart for entrepreneurs. And what I also would like to remind people, our tagline very, very candidly is where book smarts and street smarts collide. Now, we never say here that you shouldn't have an education, but there's more to be an entrepreneur. There's more than being a business owner, than just getting an MBA at Harvard, Bentley, or any of those great schools out there. There's a lot more to it than that, and you'll get to find that out. So with that said, Joe, it's great to have you on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
So listen, you've been an entrepreneur from, I think, the very early days. You had a shirt company, a t-shirt company, you sold fireworks. I mean, you've been really at this entrepreneurial game since a very early age. I think you sold a pool company at some point, some really cool stuff that you've been able to do. Now you have this company that from my research looks like you have over 1 million people a year that go through Spartan, the lifestyle that's created, and then just the logistics that you have to endure to pull on a great product like that. But curious, like, how are you doing in this COVID, first and foremost?
It sucks. I mean, I've been doing business, like you said, for 40 years. And business is hard. I mean, anybody out there listening knows business is hard. I'll fight with my wife and other moms about something I can't win, which is I say, running a business is harder than giving birth. And that's a tough one for me, right? I can't win that argument.
No.
But it's hard. Everything that can go wrong does go wrong. And this is no different. This is wake up one day, you're going to have 325 events in 45 countries, and now you're lucky to do 30 events. You got to furlough, 400 plus people, and I'm relegated to my farm. So whereas I used to be on an airplane every single week. So it is what it is. We pivoted. We're reinventing ourselves. We're doing lots of content. We're doing lots of merchandise, lots of training, lots of podcasts. But it is what it is. I mean, I like to say to myself every day, while we're fighting, this is what we trained for, right? This is exactly what Spartans trained for. So here we are.
I love that, Joe. What I love is this is clearly a business you're passionate about. So my question number one is I want to know, how did you come up with this idea to formulate this type of race?
Well, I mean, I've been doing this. I've been racing myself in the 90s. I've been doing all kinds of crazy races as a way to expand myself. My mom introduced me to a race in Queens, New York, which still exists today, called the Transcendence Run. It's a 3,100-mile run around a 1-mile loop. So I saw what was possible. I saw crazy people doing crazy things for 50 or 60 days straight in the middle of summer in Queens. And then from there, I just started doing races. I did all kinds of adventure races all over the world. The harder it was, the more interested I was in it. And it was transformational. And I started to get to a place where when I wanted water, food, and shelter, that was a really nice place to be, because what it did was it got my mind off the payroll, and it got my mind off, the marketing problems and all the headaches associated with the business. So I wanted to bring it to other people. Hang on, I'm always working out while I'm doing interviews and conversations. So I'm in the middle of a stretch while I talk to you. So I ended up buying this farm up in Vermont with my wife, and I started putting on races myself. I wanted to transform people, but very hard to convince people to come out and do hard things. They don't generally want to do that. Human beings are motivated by the avoidance of discomfort. But I would coerce a few people. I would lie to them and tell them, come up to Vermont for a barbecue. They didn't know they were the ones being barbecued. And invariably, a few would say, oh my God, that was unbelievable. And then in 2010, after the financial crisis, I changed the name, I changed the format, and we attempted to scale it. And lo and behold, it took off. Went from 700 customers to our first race under the Spartan moniker to 1,500, 3,000. And we went from country to country. And we just started to have tremendous success. We ended up buying last year, right before COVID, poor timing. We ended up buying Tough Mudder. But we'll dig through this. The world will dig through this. And, you know, I thought by July 2020, we'd be back online, but it looks more like January 2021. It looks like that's what it's going to take. I mean, I've got opinions about this whole COVID thing. I don't know if you want to go there, but it is what it is. Here we are.
Well, yeah, absolutely. We'd love to hear your opinion. We have them too.
Yeah, so here's my opinion on the whole thing. We were very fortunate that when Trump shut the borders, we started something called a warrior call. And every morning, we started to have scientists and doctors and plugged in people from 40 plus countries get on a phone call every morning. And we learned a lot. And Sweden started to bubble up very early as a country that approached it differently. And to me, and by the way, I can't win this argument with almost anybody, not even my wife. But to me, there's no way out of this other than spreading it. No one wants to hear that, right? Yes, we can get a vaccine, but we have vaccines already. We have vaccines for the flu, and a lot of people don't take it. And 80,000 people a year still die with that vaccine. So yes, we can get a vaccine, but it is an invisible virus that stays behind on shirts and tables and handles. And there's no way. You cannot hide in the house long enough for this thing to go away. So what no one seems to understand is there is no solution other than spreading it. Sounds terrible. Oh my God, Joe wants everybody to die. No, Joe wants everybody out of the house living. And you take, just like on a farm, we have a farm here, you take the sick animals that are at high risk and you put those animals in the barn and you let the other animals run free. And so, you know, if somebody has comorbidities and they're in trouble, protect them at all costs. Certainly shut the country down long enough so that we can get PPE in place, get our infrastructure in place. But after that, let it loose.
Yeah.
Joe's a crazy person. By the way, my social media guy is 20 feet from me. I've done 50 videos saying what I just said. He won't post them. He's afraid to post them.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough environment, and running a business, it can be viewed both ways. I mean, we, in our regular jobs, we try to stay away from the politics and the other stuff just because we have such a large audience, and it can be detrimental, or, you know, depending on how you look at it. But I appreciate your opinion, and it's a great opinion.
Let's just have some fun with it for another second. Like, I would implore your listeners, right? They could email me. Tell me what another solution is. Give me any solution. By the way, if you look at Sweden's numbers, Sweden is doing great. Yeah. Oh my God, Sweden had more deaths than Norway. Okay, but that's expected because they let it loose. And so if you check back with Norway in a year, they're probably going to catch up.
Yeah, that's interesting. I want to hear how, you know, because what we're finding is a lot of our business owners, they're coming out stronger. They're reinventing themselves. They're pivoting, like you said, and they're learning how to embrace the online world. Tell me, what are you guys doing to move forward with the virtual workouts?
Well, we're very fortunate in that I'm on this farm, and it's basically a big studio. And so we got a few resources here that are willing to wake up early in the morning and go to bed late and hike and do pull-ups and all this crazy stuff we do every day. And so we've created a content studio, and we're just pushing out tons of content. Nice. Everything, of course, is censored from me. John censors my videos and won't let me put out the stuff I really want to put out because he's afraid I'm going to get in trouble. He's laughing over there. But I'm feeling really shackled and handcuffed around these youngsters that are afraid I'm going to get in trouble.
Well, I mean, it's a good point though. I mean, the brand that you have, and you know, I've never done a Tough Mudder, never done Spartan. I did do Ironman in a prior life, but back in my Ironman days, it's a mindset, it's a culture, and it seems like Spartan's been really good, and especially the marketing is brilliant in terms of like, you know, the different levels of races and how you achieve, you know, in your personal life, also in your physical life. But tell us how you kind of, was that just real world, how you ended up benefiting from doing, you know, all these ultras over your life? Did you end up seeing the cross connections, and then that was something that you just wanted to impart onto, you know, your business, and you thought the morals, the beliefs and all that were something that were worth creating a business around?
I don't believe transformation can occur without going through something hard. Just, you want to turn iron into steel, you got to heat it, pound it, and drown it. And, you know, diamonds from coal, go down the list, right? And it's really a simple program. It's, you sign up for an event that forces you to go to bed early, wake up early, eat healthier, right? Forces you to train. And then you do the event, and then I have to hook you again, not just from a business standpoint, but if I don't continually hook you, you're going to fall off the wagon. Mm-hmm. You're going to start drinking, you're going to stay up late, you're going to eat the cookie. And you know, if you're listening to this, you might be saying, not me. Hang on a second. Only 12% of America is metabolically healthy. 12%. 88% is not healthy. Not metabolically healthy. Many of them pre-diabetic. So the reason that is they don't have dates on the calendar. They don't have anything to train for. You know, you see a boxer has a fight. For 60 to 90 days, he trains and gets ready for the fight. And then he balloons up again, gets out of shape, sits in front of the TV, and then there's a fight, gets back in shape. And so with this brand, the idea was, let's make sure we keep picking fights for people. And the more fights they have on the calendar, the more likely they are to stick to the program. That was really the brand in a nutshell, because the races I did kept me really, really focused. Because if I wasn't focused every day in training, I was going to be embarrassed when I got to that event. I was going to have to put my tail between my legs, not be able to finish it.
How important do you think, you know, you've been an entrepreneur your whole life, but how important is it to be, you know, your personal passions aligned with, you know, your business? I mean, a company like this, I mean, you couldn't have, you know, a 300-pound you are the brand, so you drink the Kool-Aid. But have you, in your prior life with other businesses that you've been able to do, you know, did you always have the passion being an entrepreneur and lining up with the different
Anything I do, I'm really passionate. I'm lucky that way. I just love doing a good job. The ancient Spartans believed that you don't have to focus on legacy. You don't have to focus on building a giant monument or whatever. What you have to do is focus on doing a great job at the little things all day, every day. And if you do that, you're automatically going to get legacy. So here we are 2,500 years later talking about the Spartans, right? They got it because they did such a damn good job. They were so disciplined. And so I think to be a great entrepreneur, you got to treat yourself like an Olympian. Olympians disciplined, Olympians committed, Olympians taking care of their health, their sleep, the way they're eating, their training. And so I think so many of us as entrepreneurs let our lifestyles fall apart because we're so focused on the business that actually we don't reach our full potential. So I think if we were to focus on the whole package and treat ourselves like Olympians, we would do much better in business.
Just to follow up on that, Mike, I know you have a question, but does that work-life balance exist? Like, you hear people say balance, right? But being an entrepreneur, you're such a type A, awesome guy, you're super focused. But I mean, do you have periods where you view yourself as just too focused and unbalanced? Like I don't personally know if that exists, but I was curious how you thought about that.
I am completely unbalanced. I believe in integration. I don't believe in this idea that, at 6 o'clock, I'm going to shut the phone off. My buddy Tim Ferriss with this 4-hour work week bullshit.
Love
not,
that.
not accurate. So,
Yeah.
so I believe that I've got to intertwine my business, which is 24/7, just like anybody listening, with my life. So it starts when I'm working out in the morning and I weave it in, and I'm doing the Shrimp Tank podcast, and I'm exercising while I'm doing it. And I just mix the whole thing together because that's the only way to get it all done.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you, what, if you could say, like, you see 5 years from now, we get back into, human interaction. Where do you see your company going? What would you like to see? Where do you want it to be in 5 years?
We're going to kill it because people are going to want to be socially undistanced. They're going to want to get the hell out of the house and come together. So that's going to be awesome. All we need is the government regulators allowing it to happen. We're going to be more proficient at content because we picked up the slack. We're going to be more proficient digitally because we filled a bunch of gaps we had. There's a whole bunch of stuff we're working on we never otherwise would have had time to work on. So we want to be a house of brands that delivers hard stuff. I'm sorry if I'm not allowed to curse on anything. You'll have to edit it out.
Say whatever you want.
Yeah. So we want to be, you might want to do a La Ruta, our mountain bike event. You might want to do DECA. You might want to do Spartan Trail, Tough Mudder. But we are a place where you can commit to something really hard, which is going to force you off the couch and eating healthy.
I love it. Yeah, that's awesome.
So often, most entrepreneurs have some kind of a plan, like 3-5 years. When you get into something like this, are you running a huge company like yours with the idea that maybe you'll be selling it someday, or some kind of liquidity event, or even incorporate the family into, did you think about an exit?
My exit strategy is death.
Yeah,
that's a tough one to put onto a business plan. Do you have a big life insurance policy, out of curiosity?
I think so. I don't know.
So where are the opportunities though? Like, do you have competitors? Because thanks for that knowledge that you acquired Tough Mudder. You see a company like Peloton, for example, just, they're killing it from the home exercise. Like maybe the gyms, people are thinking about that whole gym experience and those memberships and things like that. But do you see, market share, whether it be competitors or things like that, in the foreseeable future after we get?
Our main competitor is really Ironman.
Yeah.
Ironman. We have a much bigger footprint. The number of people that actually do our events with Mudder, it's probably approaching 2 million people a year. So more accessible, even though it seems a lot scarier to a lot of people, because we have those shorter distances. So yeah, that's our main competitor. Gyms are symbiotic to us. Peloton is symbiotic to us. They are tools to get people in shape to our event, and we are a tool to get people to actually go to the gym. It's a very symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, and how and if I'm looking at this the right way, but Spartan, is it SGX you have that where there's coaching capabilities and things like that? Is that something that you're still kind of working on?
Yeah, we have a couple of thousand certified trainers. We want to get that to 10,000 around the globe. And those people help people think and train like Spartans.
And the whole mindset and just incorporating the lifestyle. And so is it just coaching around to be physically fit, or are you like, in Ironman, for example, I remember when I used to race, just about everybody there was like a C-suite executive or business leader, maybe because of the cost of the bike, who knows? But do you see other businesses around what Spartan's able to do, like whether it be nutrition or other things that can be incorporated?
Yeah, there's lots of opportunity. We got into the nutrition space. Just the word Spartan is, it means something. It's very simple, very stoic, right? Mm-hmm. And so the way we approach nutrition is very simple solutions. All you really need to get through, 10, 20, 100 miles. Same way we're approaching merchandise, same way we're approaching training. So just very simple, basic solutions. I think sometimes as companies, we get caught up in these very complicated offerings and services that consumers really don't need. So I've been racing myself for 26 years, 27 years, and you'd be surprised with how little you need.
How do you determine how you're doing? Is it an economic thing? Or are we getting feedback from? I
I want to know how many lives we change. I mean, that's our major KPI. How many lives can we change this year? How many lives did we change?
And how do you measure that?
Just number of people that registered, amount of emails that come in that say, you changed my life. I'm no longer drinking. I'm no longer doing drugs. I'm back with my husband. I'm back with my wife. I lost 200 pounds. I quit my job. I started a business. So they roll in all day, every day.
And that's your fuel too, right?
Yeah.
100%. Go ahead, Micah.
No, I love it. I was going to say, what's the first step someone needs to do if they want to kind of get preparing for the next race, even though I don't know, do you have one scheduled? I mean, what would someone need to do to start preparing now?
Cold showers, I recommend, but you probably don't want to do that. Minimum, let's go with minimum. Minimum, you should at least run a mile a day, do 30 burpees and 30 pull-ups. The best pull-ups and burpees you could muster up, and 1 mile a day. That is a bare minimum you need to do.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really great. So tell me about what's going on in Vermont. So you're doing the videos, you're just recording content all the time and trying to put that out in distribution. Is that primarily, where you reside and full time, and that's where the company's run out of?
That's what we're doing now. Typically, it would be out of Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the pandemic, the family is here on the farm, and it lets me wake the kids up nice and early. Sorry about that. I'm yawning. With very off-brand. You're going to have to cut that out. The kids wake up super early with us. We get them up the mountain. We throw them in cold water. So the farm is just a great transformational place.
Nice.
I'd like to remind all our listeners, you can download this show, all our previous shows. We're up to about 1,200 syndicated through iHeart. Basically, anywhere you can download your podcasts, we're available there. Joe, I wanted to know if you're able to open up the commode, but we always talk about people's successes and stuff. Like, what have you screwed up, or what do you have any do-overs in your business journey and your entrepreneurship journey?
I mean, I didn't invest enough in technology. For sure, I would do that all over again. Made tons of mistakes along the way, modifications, edits, pivots. Would have got into some of these other business lines we're getting into now with COVID sooner. Would have definitely had COVID insurance. That would have been a big one. Would have had some sort of insurance to cover this. But I'm not one of these guys that relives life. I move forward, not backward. So just get after it every day. I don't second guess stuff.
Yeah, that's a great philosophy. I mean, it's kind of the mantra. And how do you motivate all the Spartan employees and executives, or is it just the same thing with the emails coming through and they are attracted to the lifestyle just like you are?
Without a doubt, them seeing the transformed lives. But then we also use a cattle prod. We electrocute people that don't move fast enough and aren't paying attention. I think everybody's excited about what we do, and so it's easy to rally behind.
Nice. So, any home workouts that our subscribers could go to and start training now? I need some content that they will
look up the Spartan app. But if you want something free and easy, try 30 burpees a day for 30 days.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's great stuff. Well, we want to thank you for your time. We know you're super busy running this awesome company. We encourage all of you to look Joe up. He actually has his own Wikipedia page, so that's pretty cool too, right? And he's doing some amazing stuff. And Joe, what for our listeners, what's the best way to get a hold of you if they want to reach out? Like Mike asked about, the workouts and all, but how do people reach out to you to learn more about Spartan?
Shoot me an email, joe@spartan.com. And do not send an email that's more than 2 sentences. Okay? I'm not reading anything more than 2 sentences.
I love it. That's so good. Well, again, we want to thank you for your time today. It's a great story, and it's amazing how you built this company. There's so many millions of people that are getting impacted in a positive way. I believe in the lifestyle. I've never actually done one of your races, but that's now one of my goals. I crossed off the English Channel, the Ironman, stuff like that. But I can see, and I have a house in Maine, so I have no excuse not to come to your farm one of these days. So
Love to have you.
thanks again. Great story. Appreciate all your insight, and we will look forward to your updates sometime soon.
You're
Yeah,
awesome.
Joe.
Thanks,
Nice meeting you,
guys.
bud. I'm gonna go jump in some cold water.
Right. Maine's got cold water.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond.